We do really three things. We help entrepreneurs, we call it the Ariadne bear hug. We help really, because startups are front loaded, so they need a lot of help at the beginning in terms of the kind of go-to-market strategy, finding the right people, finding the right money, help getting early customers, reference customers, and we do all of that. We're kind of flexible in how we structure things because my experience is if you say, well, this is the way you do the hamburgers and you do the shakes and the fries this way. People say, well, I don't want the shakes and the fries done that way. So we really cut, kind of custom deals depending on. So our deal with Spinvox is different than our deal with Skype was, different than Zope and Monetize. But it's always some combination of taking equity for services, somewhere between 1% and 3% of the firm, a percentage of funds raised or a percentage of income rights for deals that we get done, again, heavily geared towards success. And we to keep them honest, we take just a small retainer, a kind of advance against different fees and so forth. It's always about the entrepreneur, and we're very aggressively on the side of the entrepreneur. We don't believe that entrepreneurs should be ripped out of their own companies and put the real management in and so forth. I think that's one of the riskiest things you can do. Quite the contrary, we think that the founders should be encouraged to become the CEOs of their business unless they clearly don't have the skill set. But more of them do than it's realized. Second thing is that the value proposition has to be a real game changer. So there has to be the ambition to not just change the world, but to change an industry either through a disruptive element or an enabling element. It could be either one. And then the third thing, and again, it's a little bit counterintuitive because it needs to be referred to us by somebody we value and believe is important, and who's putting their own money in. And you say, well, isn't that your job to put the money in? But actually we get most of the work that we do is with serial entrepreneurs who've been referred to us from some source. And if it's, name your internet investor, and if he's just trying to offload his stuff to Ariadne, I say, hey Joe, are you putting your money in or are you just trying to give it to me so you don't have to deal with the guy? Almost within the first 10 minutes of meeting somebody, you can kind of tell that the guy is going to be successful. You really can. They have this attitude that the train's leaving the station and they're kind of, inviting you to come along on the journey if you'd like to help out. But if you don't want to come and help out, that's fine because they're going to be okay. A number of things. You see people that kind of come in and they're already telling you why it's going to fail. I mean, it's amazing, but true. People that say, well, if this doesn't work, I'm going to, I'll have a job by Christmas. I've got my fallback. Well, great, good for you, but I'm not interested in hearing that, or the kind of, 16 co-founders, or I've put all of this money in, or as loans. We expect the investors to take out my founder's loans. No, that's not going to happen. We see problems in the go-to-market strategy. We see people who are not sales and marketeers, and that's my background. So when I get a lot of referrals from people who will say, Julie, this guy is not really good on the sales and marketing, but that's why I want you to work with him because you are. Well, no, I mean, if he's not, it's very tough. I mean, I can work with somebody who believes in the power of marketing, and marketing always trumps technology. But if they fundamentally don't believe in marketing, I can't somehow kind of be their stand-in. I can't be the spokesperson for the company and so forth. But you'd be surprised at how many people don't want to sell who are entrepreneurs. All of the elements of building online businesses have become kind of commoditized, standardized, and are kind of ready to be assembled. It's like a big Lego land, right? And I think in the recent Economist, it was referred to as the Cambrian explosion, right? This massive creativity is coming out of all of the digital elements, just like, the animal kingdom 500 million years ago. They're all ready to be put together in any different order. Voice recognition has been around for ages, hasn't it? What Spinvox did is they figured out the right business model. They delivered it as a managed service to the operators, having demonstrated 150,000 people wanted to use the service. Voice-powered applications were just at the beginning. Just when you think that all the big ideas have been done, voice-powered communications delivered on managed servers, we're just scratching the surface. So they will get a huge premium on the exit if they don't become a consolidator themselves, but if they do get consolidated, because it's a first mover in the space, So yes, they were wildly imitated by Jolt and all of this Jot. I think Jot's the one that Nicholas invested in. But they're first mover, and the benefits accrue to the first mover, and they're doing all of the right deals. I think every time we have one of those watershed of breakthroughs, Barack Obama, Christina Demack, people have to say, why didn't we believe that that person could do that, right? And we have to recognize that we still have some of that software in our brain that's saying, oh, I don't think a 26-year-old female could create a multi-billion-pound company. Why not? She's just proved it. So it'll be easier for the people in her wake to do it the next time. And I do think that she will inspire a lot of female entrepreneurs. She'll inspire a lot of entrepreneurs. And she will, again, kind of like Skype. How do we miss this one, right? I guess in the Julie Meyer school of principle of it, I would say, yeah. I mean, certainly for the ones that we would work with. I think there's different makeups and so forth, but the best definition of leadership I ever heard was by Colin Powell, who said, leaders are those people who create the conditions of trust so that great things can happen. So if you think about that's quite relevant to entrepreneurship. So if you want people to work until the last tube home, or to make something happen, which otherwise you've got to kind of inspire them to live abnormal lives and to kind of really work hard with you. Why would people do that? Because they trust you, right? It gets back to me telling city leaders across the world, don't worry guys, if anyone makes money, we all make money, right? People trusted me to do that. Yeah, I think entrepreneurs do have to be leaders. And I think increasingly what I see, but you see, I just believe you've got to find the self-motivated people. I don't really want to manage anyone. That's kind of a Julie thing, but I think increasingly this whole school of management and all the MBA stuff and so forth, just find people who manage themselves. Set where we're going, create the conditions of trust, and self-motivated people will follow, right? But if you've got to manage them, then when it doesn't work out, then you go to the employment tribunal. Don't have time for that. It's this kind of corny concept of changing the world, of thinking, I have this insight. I know where I was going to say gold, but that would make you think of kind of greed. They know, they believe that they have the key to unlock a door, and so they really want to unlock that door. And they are excited by that. It's that creative flow of energy. They can see the Sistine Chapel. They just want to paint it, but they can see it already painted, so the rest of it is just execution. So I don't think it's greed at all. I think, in fact, as Tim Draper said so eloquently at ETRA in Stockholm a couple of weeks ago, he said, he was asked, is it greed good or bad? And he said, greed just doesn't work. Because if you are greedy, and if that's the primary driver, people figure it out. They don't want to be part. That's not a mission. The enrichment of Julie Meyer or any other entrepreneur out there, people are not interested in helping me fulfill that mission. They are interested if I say Ariadne is about redefining the financing of entrepreneurship in Europe. Boy, will I get people to help me redefine the financing of entrepreneurship in Europe. I've always kind of felt most people kind of go up and down and kind of panic, and then they pull themselves back. And if you can manage to be one of those people that goes steady, you actually, while other people are going up and down, you're out and ahead. So I kind of, definitely don't enjoy market downturns. I'm not trying to sound that way. But I definitely feel like, can get ahead now. I mean, I think that myself. I can get ahead because most people will not invest. Most people will not staff up. Most people will panic. Most people will take time off. And I won't, right? So I think for me personally, I think, okay, this is okay. I know what this is about. I've been here before. In terms of my companies, yeah, a lot more time spent with them because you're dealing with all sorts of kind of psychological kind of issues about how people are dealing with stress. And I think you always have to have that banker of last resort in any startup. You have to know when all hell breaks loose, who's going to pay the PAYE bill, right? Are we calling dad, or do we have the money, or do we have the friend and family? Do we have the private investor? Do we have a good bank manager? Who's the banker of last resort?